Hey, this is Simon. We have a lot of fun with our spoiler section and we want more of you to have access. So we've added the spoiler perk to the Landed Knight tier. Follow the link to buy me a coffee in the show notes and sign up to hear the future. Thanks. Hello, welcome to the Ghosts of Harrenhal. My name's Simon.
And I'm Mackelly.
Thank you for joining us for episode 312 of our chapter-by-chapter book review of A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. Today we'll be discussing chapter 40 of A Dance with Dragons, which is Tyrion 9.
And as always, we're going to chat about the chapter and try not to spoil any future plot points for you. Unless, of course, you have a Buy Me a Coffee Sustainer tier that includes spoilers, well, then we are going to spoil things for you. Regardless, hopefully we'll provide you some entertainment along the way.
We'll summarise what happened, discuss our thoughts on it, provide some useful background, compare it to the television show, indulge in a little pedantry and cover some relevant news and listener correspondence. Be sure to check out the show notes, they'll provide some additional information about the characters and geography of this chapter, including the spelling of some of the characters, which often freaks me out because in our notes I don't have to worry about the spelling.
Right.
In the show notes, which people can read, you've got to get that right. So
yes.
I believe I've spelt Daenerys at least 7 different ways over the
the A and the E just all over the place through the name.
And is it before or after the N that you get the A and the E? I mean, like,
right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Wherever we feel like it in our notes, in our show, on our sheet, as we call it, anyway.
Yeah. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. I probably sound okay. I'm on some cold meds. I'm a bit under the weather. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's been a while since I've had a cold, and it came on, and I was like, it starts with that kind of tingle in the back of your throat, and I was like, oh, I just must be dehydrated. And then that was not the case. It just kept getting worse. So It's day 3, and I'm doing all right, but I didn't want to be sniffling and stuff on this call, so I've taken some Sudafed to dry things up a little bit. So I'll do my best not to sniffle or sneeze.
But that's the professional thing to do. Well done. Well, right. not to try and trump you with medical things, but but it's funny. I too, colds used to be like a common occurrence, like a couple a year was kind of like how I remember colds. But since the pandemic, I've had a grand total of 2 colds in 5 years.
Probably taking more precaution, maybe?
Exactly. It's weird how the world has changed,
Yeah. I sanitize my hands when I come out of most stores, in the car before I drive away.
Of course, you've got your whole OCD overlay.
There's that, too. That's certainly not helping matters.
Well, it might be in this one instance.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe it's a blessing in disguise in this situation. But I got something from Jenny that...
Was it the cold?
Yes. So for my birthday, Jenny sent me a card, but it never showed up. And we were blaming the mail service. Because it looked like a birthday card, and we thought someone in the mail service thought that there was money in this card, and so they opened it and took the card out and saw there was no money and just threw it away, and all these negative thoughts. And then like a week or so ago, Jenny's husband went to the post office to mail something else, and the man at the post office recognized him and said, hey, I hope, Jenny probably you got all these facts wrong, but for my version of the story, this is how this is going to go.
One of the things I've said before is this is our podcast and we can change the stories however we feel like. Go right on ahead, sir.
So the person at the post office said, hey, is this your address, your card? And it was, and what had happened was a new employee at the post office had spilled something on the card and made the mailing address illegible.
Illegible. Ah.
Yes. But they still had the card around. And then when Jenny's husband showed up, they were like, hey, is this your card?
But a question about post office process. I'm going to guess that the return address, Jenny's address, was on the front of that card.
Yes, Yes, it was. Yes.
Why not
I got the card.
Take the card back to their house and deliver it. They deliver mail. That's one of the things that they do.
Yes, they do. Yes. Fantastic
Instead
question
of
that I have
waiting
no answer
several
for.
weeks, on the off chance you might recognize the person that brought in the card in the first place.
Now, there might be a detail that I've gotten wrong that would explain this, but yes.
Well, good. This is going to be a two-parter, everyone, because this is not holding water. I'm sorry. Although, actually, given the US mail service, the fact that they took that route actually makes a lot of sense.
Maybe you'll come back.
How can we get this letter to this person? Let's hope they come back to the post office.
Well, so it came in the most unusual packaging. It was like there was a card, like an envelope, card envelope, and then there was like a plastic sleeve adhered to the card envelope. Mm-hmm. And I had trouble getting into it. I had trouble getting that plastic sleeve off so I could get the card open. But it came. It was a lovely birthday card. It has. I posted it on Discord, so those of you who have not seen it yet, you can go there and check it out. But on the front, it had the three-eyed crow, and on the inside, it said, "I see that you're going to have a very good birthday."
Nice. I like it. Was the plastic cover provided by the mail service
to protect
it from future drinks?
Yeah, I think maybe, or yeah, it was like a hybrid. It was like, like a cyborg card or something. So but yes. So thank you, Jenny. Thanks once again.
Yes,
much appreciated.
Jenny's always great. My one-upmanship on the medical thing is I have to have surgery on the shoulder that's been bothering me.
Oh, no. Yeah. You told me last week you had to go in and get an MRI.
It's happening. And it's happening on a Wednesday, so we'll have to arrange something for
yes.
recording. But
yes. Well, we're not recording on Wednesday tonight, so clearly we can move around things. Although you might... The day after, probably Thursday wouldn't be great either.
Yes, we probably have to do it the Tuesday that week. Which,
yes.
So I'm not exactly looking forward to this. The doctor's all like, "Oh, the surgery's a piece of cake. Don't worry about it." He's like, "But the rehab, oh my god!" But I don't have to do that. Just you.
For me, it's a piece of cake. I do this all day long.
So
then you're off on your own for the recovery.
Mm. So 6 months of no soccer. Oof.
Oh, wow. Is that a record for you? Will that be?
I mean, pretty much, yeah. It's been a long time since I've gone that long without playing. I like playing soccer. Yeah. Because I'm not allowed to do anything that risks a fall for 6 months.
Oh, my gosh. And we know that your soccer very often results in a fall.
Pretty much guarantees a fall, yeah.
Right.
But I was going to tell you about my big day last Saturday. Last Saturday, get this. So I played soccer, which at the time seemed so mundane and humdrum, but now with hindsight, it feels like a special moment in my life. So I played soccer, and then from the soccer, I went home and got a shower. I'm not a monster, but then I went to see a play in the afternoon, which is an adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula, and it was very well done actually. It was a small theatre company in Raleigh, but they put on a very good show with special effects and fun as well. I very much enjoyed it.
Sounds great.
And from that, I went home, and I don't know if I did anything when I got home. We just turned back around and went to a birthday party. A friend was having a milestone birthday, so we went to this. When we ate and drank at the birthday party. And directly from that, without even going home, we went to see our neighbor Alex playing in his band in a concert.
Wow. So
my feet did not touch the ground.
Yeah, I knew most of this because I invited you to
hang out with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you said, I've got this, and this. So
it all happened.
Yeah, you really were busy.
I know. It was like, I remember in my 20s having days like this, when you just like every minute was accounted for.
Right.
But it's been a long time since I've done that much. I was absolutely exhausted when I got home.
When you were talking about all the things you had to do that day, I was thinking that same thing. That sounds exhausting. I don't think I can make it through a day like that anymore.
It was the concert. I've said before about as soon as the concert starts, I'm counting the songs, How many before we start?
Right.
I could see the song sheet from where I was standing, and I was like leaning over trying to count them,
How many more do I have to... Yeah. Well, we were out. The reason why we're recording tonight instead of last night is because we went out for a friend of ours' birthday last night. And that was just dinner from like 6 to 8. And I was nodding off on the drive home. Luckily, I wasn't the one driving. We were driving with the couple that we went to dinner with. But I was kind of nodding off in the back seat while we were driving. And all I did was go to a 2-hour dinner. So, yeah.
You can't hang with me, Mackelly.
No way.
It was a one-off. It'll never happen again. All right. Let's get down to business. How did we leave Tyrion Lannister? Last we saw of Tyrion, he was befriending his erstwhile assassin, Penny,
yes,
aboard the Selaesori Qhoran. They came through a literal and figurative storm to calmer waters. They skirted Valyria, and Moqorro, the priest of R'hllor, told Tyrion that they weren't the only ones seeking Daenerys Targaryen. Also, that Moqorro saw Tyrion snarling at the centre of all those who seek the queen. Mackelly, why don't we give the summary of this one?
Okay. Well, the Selaesori Qhoran drifts, windless for 12 days in the Gulf of Grief. The crew's tempers curdle under the heat, rum, and superstition. Dwarf luck, they say, has failed them. Penny pleads with Tyrion to help her lift the crew's spirits with a mummer's joust. Against his better judgment, and with a good measure of rum, he agrees. Clad in Groat's painted wooden armor, astride the late dwarf's pig, Pretty, Tyrion clatters across the deck to face Penny on her big gray dog, Crunch. For a fleeting moment, his lance raised and armor gleaming, he feels almost like his brother Jaime, until the laughter starts. The sailors jeer and hoot as he topples off the pig, landing hard and biting his tongue.
The laughter is a little thin and forced. Some of the crew's amusement has soured into venom. Clearly, some of them had bet on Tyrion to win the joust. Jorah Mormont hauls Tyrion to his feet and calls him a fool. Tyrion answers that was the point. Hard to look heroic on a pig. Jorah grunts that that's why he stays off them. Jorah warns Tyrion to tell Penny to bar her cabin. Talk of bacon is spreading.
Tyrion mocks Jorah about his mission, suggesting the knight hopes to win back Daenerys' favor by delivering a prize dwarf to her feet. But what if she sees him for what he is, a spy and turncloak? Tyrion asks if Jorah was on the queen's business in the whorehouse where they met, half a world away from Meereen. The big knight's patience snaps. His blow knocks Tyrion sprawling and costs him a tooth. Costs Tyrion a tooth, not Jorah. Jorah's teeth were fine.
He shouldn't have used his mouth for that blow.
Jorah stalks off, warning that if Tyrion values what teeth remain, he'll stay out of sight for the rest of the voyage.
Blooded, Tyrion rinses his mouth with rum and water in the galley. Penny finds him there, horrified by the swelling on his lip. She dabs his mouth with a square of cloth and scolds him for provoking the big people. Her father had taught her how to survive among them. Be playful, make them laugh, keep them smiling. Didn't Tyrion's father teach him that? My father called them small folk, he says grimly. She asks why Jorah hit him. For love, Tyrion replies. He warns her that love is madness and lust is poison. She blushes when he asks if she's a maid. She is, and he tells her to stay that way.
Then the ship moves. After 12 days of stillness, the striped sails stir, and Penny rushes up shouting with joy. Tyrion follows. The wind is rising at last, but to the west, the sky darkens to an unnatural color. Moqorro and his fiery fingers stand on the stern castle, robes whipping in the breeze. The priest calls it the wrath of the Lord of Light. Tyrion's mind flashes to the widow of the waterfront's prophecy. The ship will never reach her destination.
The storm builds fast. The captain orders a desperate course change. It's hopeless. The sea explodes around them. Tyrion drags Penny below as waves hammer the hull. Pretty squeals, Crunch barks madly, and Penny trembles beside him as they secure loose gear. To keep her calm, Tyrion suggests a game. Instead, she kisses him, clumsy, frightened, but completely sincere. He lets her, holding her shoulders gently, but keeping his lips closed. When she pulls away, she explains she did not want to die, having never kissed a boy. Tyrion tells her that it was sweet, but he is married to Sansa Stark.
Above them, the storm rages. As midnight neared, it finally relents. Tyrion left Penny in the cabin and went on deck. What he saw didn't instill him with confidence. The ship sailed on smooth seas. However, all around them in every direction the storm continued. Moqorro stands at the forecastle, his booming voice shouting out prayers.
Within seconds, the calm ended. Tyrion tries to reach the door to get below deck, but a gust of wind knocks him off his feet and slams him into the rail. The mast bursts apart, splinters embedding themselves into Tyrion's face and calf, but he clings to the rail, laughing wildly as the storm destroys the ship.
We'll be right back.
Hello, friends. Are you ready to make some unforgettable memories? Well, if so, consider the Marriott Bonvoy program. Discover the perfect destination for your summer getaway and unlock exclusive deals on luxurious accommodations. With our affiliate partnership, you'll enjoy unbeatable savings and a seamless booking experience. Don't let summer slip away. Visit Marriott Bonvoy today and make this vacation season one for the books. Use our Ghosts of Harrenhal affiliate page to check it all out and buy Bonvoy points or give some as a gift. The link to our page is in the show notes. When dawn comes, the Selaesori Qhoran is shattered. Mast gone, hull leaking, figurehead broken, 9 men dead. Moqorro and 2 of his fiery fingers are missing. The survivors patch what they can. The captain dies the next day. A mate takes command and lowers the boats to tow them toward land, but one sinks and the other flees, cutting the line and rowing north.
For 19 days, the wreck drifts under a pitiless sun, food dwindling. Jorah seems to have decided to ignore his and Tyrion's prior argument, and Tyrion is happy to do the same. Penny hides below with her starving animals, and Tyrion limps on a bandaged leg. Penny asks if they should perform again to raise the sailors' spirits. Tyrion tells her no, it would only remind them that there's a pig to eat.
That night, he dreams of killing his father again, but this time it's Penny who takes the quarrel. He wakes to shouting and runs on deck. The ship lurches, and the crew point and cry out, "A sail!" Penny laughs, weeping with joy. Tyrion kisses her cheeks, her brow, her mouth. The galley bears down fast, oars churning white foam. Tyrion asks if Jorah can read the ship's name. "I don't need to read her name," he says grimly. "We're downwind. I can smell her. That's a slaver."
Mm-hmm.
Well, you could see why we felt okay with spending so much time at the during witty banter to just chat about things. It's not that
I mean, it's a well-written chapter, you know. It's the storm is exciting and what have you, but I mean, storm sinks ship. Well, it doesn't completely sink ship. Storm cripples ship.
Yeah. It's kind of like this chapter. There's not a lot of news being broken or anything like that. It's kind of in a vacuum, this chapter. So
yeah, and not a lot of forward momentum, given that we've only had 9 Tyrion chapters. I mean, 9 is probably the most that we've had of anyone in this book. But it is somewhat adrift in still waters.
This chapter is becalmed.
Yes, rather. Yes.
But I did find it quite adorable that Tyrion caved to Penny's pleading about jousting. It's very sweet. The last Tyrion chapter, he was so against the idea.
Yeah, but it is so tricky. I mean, we talked about it then. It's a tricky thing because you kind of want him to do it for Penny and for, the bonhomie of the whole thing, but they are laughing at these people for being different. And that,
absolutely.
I don't want them to have to do this to make themselves liked,
Right.
I would rather they be treated as equals, but it's...
And that was basically his thought last chapter, is he considered it demeaning. Yeah. And, he wasn't doing it, he didn't agree to do it entirely out of the goodness of his heart. The sailors already believe that a woman on board is bad luck. So I think he was doing it both for his sake and for Penny's sake.
But for Penny's sake in particular, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
By the way, I've taken to calling my other dog Groat. I thought about Crunch, but Penny and Groat.
I like it. Yeah, it fits well. But Tyrion does see the irony of tilting now when all the trouble with that he has going on in his life started with refusing to joust at the wedding.
Right.
And of course, that's a very different situation. There, he was intentionally being put in a position to be mocked and jeered.
Right. If you have agency over your decision to do something comical for people, that's fine. But if you're forced to do it, that's not nice,
Right.
If you're forced to, if you choose to be laughed at, great, you can laugh along. If you're forced to be laughed at, that's not pleasant for anyone.
Very good distinction.
But he also, it's kind of fun. It's kind of funny that he at one point during the joust, he actually feels like Jaime.
Yes.
As they get up to speed, it's like, oh, this must be how Jaime feels, kind of thing. But of course, it's not the same. And
yeah, the laughter kills that feeling. Yeah, sadly. Yeah. But did you notice that three separate times in this chapter Tyrion ends up with a mouthful of blood?
So the fall off the pig, the punch from Jorah, the bit of the mask that hit him.
When he got tossed by the storm.
Storm, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so did he bite his tongue again, or did something hit him in the mouth?
I think it was just being knocked off his feet.
Okay, yeah.
Well, he probably did bite something again, but
yeah.
I just wondered, was it just a randomly bad day for mouth health, or is this some deeper symbolism here?
Well, we've noted several times when Tyrion should have bitten his tongue and failed to do so. So perhaps we're
in fact, before the second time his mouth was full of blood, he probably should have bitten his tongue right then. Yes, good point. He has been metaphorically smacked in the mouth a lot since that moment when he was in bed with Shay, thinking about how he has the power, the job, and the girl of his dreams. And we were worried that he might be getting a little ahead of himself. Everything's been downhill in his life since then, basically. Pretty
precipitous downhill from that point. Because, it was in those days, it was happy times to come to a Tyrion chapter.
Yeah. He was clicking on all cylinders. He was calling the shots and...
Now we're degrading ourselves, getting punched in the face, and being captured by slavers.
Yeah. Yes. So it's far fall, sadly.
So the Selaesori Qhoran was a cog, and you wanted to sort of give a ship distinction here.
Well, yeah. He thinks of, because they've been becalmed for almost 2 weeks, Tyrion thinks of how the Widow of the Waterfront should have put them on a galley, not a cog. And so... I didn't really know. I hear that they use these terms in this story, but I don't really know the difference.
I'm with you on cog, but I knew what a galley was. I knew. Yeah. So, but
I didn't know how they.
The thing about a galley is it makes sense when you're becalmed.
Right. Then you really wish you had all those oars.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, basically, a cog is a large cargo ship powered by wind, and they sacrifice the oars for extra cargo room. Unfortunately, they are therefore beholden to the wind, as we see in this chapter. A galley, on the other hand, is smaller and narrower, but it uses both oars and sails. However, because it's smaller and narrower, they tend to stick to coastlines as they can be too fragile for the open sea.
Yeah, that's interesting actually, because you think about the Romans, I guess they were based in the Mediterranean, which is one of the calmer seas of the earth. So they used galleys. Okay. And I guess a galley is sort of like a larger type of longship, like the Vikings used. And the Vikings came across the North Sea in those. And the North Sea, that's a real sea. A little rough.
Yeah. Maybe they had tried to invade England a lot long before. They just their ships kept getting wiped out.
Possible, for sure.
But had they been on a galley, they might not have survived this storm because it was, it's a smaller, narrower ship. Maybe the wider base of this cog is what kept them afloat.
They would have had 12 days to row somewhere else.
They would have, yes. Yeah. The mate at the end of the chapter who takes over after the captain dies, he thinks that they're south of the Isle of Cedars. Had they had 12 days to row, they might have actually made it to the Isle of Cedars before this storm hit. So, yes, you're right.
Penny points out the conversation about how to act around big people is interesting because Penny, obviously she was born common, but also uncommon in that she was a dwarf. Tyrion was not common in any way because he was both a dwarf but also not a commoner. But their life experience was very different. Her life experience, her father taught her how to behave around big people for her own good.
Right.
And Tyrion never got that lesson. And even now, sort of like in his late 20s, he's probably like, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. I should be more careful with the things I say to that great big bear of a man with a short temper.
Right, who already kidnapped me and had me strung to the back of his horse for days. Maybe I should watch my mouth.
I'm going to keep this tooth as a reminder.
Yeah, be like Davos with his bones, around his neck. Yeah, no, you're right. For most of Tyrion's life, despite being, I guess, for lack of a better term, off-putting to many because he's different than everyone else, he was still a Lannister of Casterly Rock.
Exactly.
Tywin Lannister's son. So you could see why he would be unaccustomed to holding his tongue and showing caution.
Right. And he had so much power, perhaps even unwittingly, that nobody would test that power by being mean to him,
Right.
The only person we've seen really test that power was Joffrey.
Yeah, and Cersei and Tywin himself. But
well, true.
All within the family. Literally all within the family. Yeah, but now that Crimson Lion shield is gone, and he's just a dwarf named Hugor Hill.
Yeah.
So he's going to, as he says to her, I have a lot to learn about being a dwarf. Can you teach me?
And it's a nice piece of writing to bring it back around that the big people were referred to as the small folk by his father. So,
I did like that, yes.
Yeah. So how does Tyrion lose a tooth? By basically pointing out the flaws in Jorah's plan. Because Jorah's plan isn't, it's not a spoiler. Tyrion's figured it out. We can figure it out too. Is to take Tyrion back to Daenerys to win Daenerys' favor back.
Yeah. Yep.
He's intimating that he isn't banished from her side, that he was on some secret mission for her, but Tyrion points out it didn't look like a secret mission when you had a lookalike sitting on your lap in the brothel, Was that your secret mission? Don't sound like it. So
he was sent off to find doppelgangers for Daenerys for events and such.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah, but he's brings up a good point. Jorah says, you're going to pay for your crimes. Daenerys will make you pay. She's not just some silly little girl. What crimes has Tyrion committed toward Daenerys? Why would she execute him?
Yeah. I mean, he's a Westerner who is from a family who were loyal to the Targaryens a lot longer than most people were. I mean, he's no Darry, but the Targaryens, the Lannisters, were very late switchovers to the side of Robert. Now, his brother did kill her father.
Yeah, and his father did allow the sacking of King's Landing, which led to all that. So,
yeah. So there's but
the family definitely. I can understand the family, but Tyrion specifically, I just can't imagine Daenerys killing Tyrion because of what his family did.
Think about this. If he gets to her and Quentin Martell gets to her, she could be sitting there with two heirs. Well, actually, he's not even the heir to Casterly Rock. He's the Lord of Casterly Rock.
Theoretically, yeah. If someone would agree to that being the fact.
Right. So
where does power lie, I guess?
She's got two of the seven kingdoms. If they can say, we swear our swords to you as the new queen of Westeros, she's got two of the seven kingdoms in the bag.
We'll be right back.
This episode is sponsored by Audible. To get a free audiobook, or two if you're an Amazon Prime member, go to our exclusive URL, audibletrial.com/ghostsharrenhal. You can find the link in our show notes. Yeah, I think Jorah, this definitely feels like a desperate move of Jorah's and poorly thought through. Illyrio was also sending Tyrion to Daenerys, but he was sending him there as a counselor,
right?
Not as a hostage.
And that's the thing. We're not getting Jorah's POV. Jorah is perhaps thinking, he's a prize.
One way or the other.
I don't know what she will want to do with him. She may want to kill him. She may want to make him her hand. But taking her back is a way back into her good graces, one way or the other.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We're not in his... Maybe he's just giving this Jorah-like gruff exterior, saying things like she's going to treat you justly and, take off your head or whatever. When really he's thinking, I don't care what he does with her, as long as I get back in her good graces. Or exactly. I said that backward. What she does with him, as long as I get back in her good graces.
Pronouns were difficult. I stumbled too, yes. Yeah, no, you're right. He has voiced it that's what he wants to happen. Tyrion to be punished for his non-existent crimes. But you're right. All Jorah wants is a way back. I also think some of it is an extrapolation by Tyrion himself, because Tyrion's been on the run a little bit for, since escaping King's Landing. And he assumes everyone he sees, is dragging him off to Cersei to be executed.
Yes.
So some of it is kind of that mindset has crept into him. And so, it didn't take Jorah saying that's what's going to happen for him to already think it,
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's kind of where his mind is right now, Tyrion's. But Tyrion also talks of the poor gratitude of kings, because as we were saying, Jorah is envisioning basking in Dany's gratitude. And that's kind of been a common theme throughout the story, the poor gratitude of kings. Jon has thought it most recently, I believe, when he considers all the things he's done for Stannis, and Stannis has showed very little gratitude for it. Mm-hmm. So, but some are more grateful than others. I feel like Daenerys shows her gratitude well, sometimes to her own detriment. She saved Mirri Maz Duur for saving Drogo.
Yeah,
that did not work out so well.
It did not.
She also has given Missandei a place at court. That has worked out well so far. She's rewarded.
Far.
Yeah, so far. She's rewarded her blood riders for their support and standing by her. Obviously, she supported Barristan Selmy and so on and so on. So I feel that she is better at expressing her appreciation than some of the other monarchs that we've come across thus far. So there's a scene when they feel the ship move and they run up on deck, and when they look at the horizon, Tyrion calls what he sees on the horizon a bar sinister. And I had to go look up what that was. Because...
I didn't, sir. I knew. So I haven't looked this up, but I believe I know what it is. It's in heraldry. It is a black line drawn diagonally across the coat of arms to indicate that the bearer is a bastard, connected to that family, but not through birth.
Well done.
Through birth, yes. But bastardly.
Yes, the line runs from top left to bottom right on a sigil.
Oh, I actually did it the wrong way around. I had it going from top right to bottom left. Sorry.
Well, you're close enough. I give you mostly full credit for knowing all that off the top of your head. Although it's actually technically incorrect, it's mostly been used in literature to signify a bastard. In actual medieval heraldry, there's no specific mark, or there was no specific mark to denote a bastard, according to my quick Google search on that.
So Jon Snow, for example, would carry a dire wolf sigil with a black line through it, perhaps.
Yeah, right.
Although apparently not. But now, again, this is a book, so yes, he could. This is literature.
Yeah, right, yeah. Tyrion does tip his hand when after he says it's a bar sinister, then he calls the storm a big bastard.
Right, exactly.
So, he kind of gives it away, but I wanted to look up exactly what he was meaning when he said that.
Mm. So the Widow of the Waterfront put them on the ship meant for Qarth, and she told them it was never meant to reach its destination. And Tyrion, I think always a little bit foolishly, believed that this meant it was going to get redirected to Meereen at his behest. But
in some nice, gentle way.
Exactly. What Bonero had seen in the flames was that it was going to be destroyed on the way. So was Moqorro like a challenger to Bonero's authority? I mean, it's a pretty awful task he was given here. Hey, go on that boat and pray every night that it doesn't like succumb to the darkness until it sinks.
Until it does. Yeah, that's the thing is like Benero's salt in his flames. So, first of all, we don't know. We assume that Moqorro was washed overboard and
yeah, he might be fine, but typically when people get washed away in a hurricane, they don't come back.
Right. We just never see him again, so we assume that he's gone for good. But if Moqorro knew this, and he said that he did, Tyrion said, "Oh, I thought this maybe when the Widow of the Waterfront said the ship wouldn't reach her destination, that maybe you were going to take command of the ship and force it to be steered toward Meereen." And he says, "No, this was what was coming." It seems quite a waste to let this priest die for no reason, who was sent to advise Dany. So that's a weird one.
There's also the possibility that Moqorro I always think there's a bit of play acting in the Red Priests. That he was like, "Oh yes, this is what Benero saw." No, your guess is as good as mine. But if he did, by the way, there's going to be a reckoning when I get back.
Yeah, we saw in Melisandre's chapter that it's not all cut and dry as they portray. Exactly. So, but
I wondered where I got that impression. It was Melisandre who gave it to me, yes.
Where she always says she sees much and more, but really that's just kind of just saying, I see something. I'm just not quite sure how to interpret it yet. So, but it's without a doubt that R'hllor seems to produce measurable results, whether either as a god or some sort of magic. There seems to be a proven track record of success. If Benero also saw this situation in his flames, and it here turns out to be accurate.
The most impotent gods appear to be the Seven, to be honest.
Yes.
Almost everybody else gets something from their gods. But the Seven are like, what are you giving me? A lantern to light my way to death? Thanks.
Yeah, the old gods, Bran is seeing through weirwoods and eating Jojen paste and all kinds of special things. The green seers are living, growing in trees and such.
And Arya's faceless men, their god is giving them some special powers as well, right?
Yes. Yeah, I forgot about the faceless men. Yeah, absolutely. But the way that Tyrion learns about this whole, what the prophecy actually meant, was while he's staring at this awful sky on the horizon. And that had to have been a rather helpless, desperate feeling. And he reminds himself of that prophecy and reminds us of a different prophecy, the one from Quaithe, where she tells Daenerys, "Beware the perfumed seneschal." Because remember, Selaesori Qhoran means fragrant steward, which is very close to perfumed seneschal.
Yep.
But as we discussed when we first learned what the Selaesori Qhoran means, it's not a very useful prophecy for Daenerys, if that is what Quaithe meant, because she's not on the ship.
Well, maybe that's the thing. She didn't get on the ship because it was called.
she was gonna get to Volantis and then take it back to Meereen.
This doesn't really matter to you, Daenerys, but beware the perfumed seneschal. Let me tell you.
If you get an opportunity, steer clear of that ship. Now, if it were meant, if what Quaithe meant was beware those who come from that ship, well, it also seems equally unlikely that if Jorah, Tyrion, Penny, some combination of the three, make it to Daenerys, that they're going to mention, we were on this ship once upon a time called the Selaesori Qhoran, which also means fragrant steward.
Right.
She'll be like, aha, I need to beware of you.
Yeah. You've said the magic words. I'm not listening to a thing you say.
It just seems unlikely that would come up in any conversation, but you never know.
So when Penny thinks they're going to die, she plants a kiss on Tyrion, and it's very sweet and earnest and inexperienced, of course, and very very sincere, and that it touches Tyrion's heart, even if it doesn't stir his loins, I think.
Right. Yeah. And last chapter, when she asked him to tilt, he quickly rejected the idea. And then he wondered if she meant that in a not literal sense. It doesn't seem like she did. She just didn't want to die without kissing a boy. And Penny is just she's so sweet and innocent that it makes me nervous, because George Martin often treats the sweet and innocent most harshly.
Oh, Mackelly, why'd you have to bring that up?
Well, we just see it time and time again. I mean, most recently with Jane Poole, but do you remember that dwarf Septon that was beheaded that Brienne met with? And Brienne herself is a rather sweet, naive soul who, last we saw her, was having her face chewed off. So
at least Jane was mean to Arya a little bit.
Right, yeah. Well, there's that. Yeah.
Some childish, some childhood teasing coming back to bite you very hard.
I'm not sure it's quite a 1-to-1, but even Bran being pushed out the window by Jaime way back in the beginning of the Game of Thrones.
True. You know? Bran was a sweet character before that. I mean, still a sweet character, but yeah.
Yeah, so I worry.
Yeah, me too.
And so this story, this book, A Dance with Dragons, it's thought of as Tyrion taking a darker turn ever since Joff's wedding, which basically begins A Dance with Dragons. The concept is called Dark Tyrion. But here we see him with Penny, holding her while she vomits, and just generally being sweet and kind to her. And it's a nice break from the darker Tyrion that we've seen. Thinking of examples like the nasty way that he treated both of the prostitutes that he's encountered since he's been in Essos, the one in Illyrio's Manse and the one in Selhorys, where he was just very, I don't know what the right word is, not cordial and not chivalrous with them. So it's just a nice moment of tenderness with sweet, innocent Penny.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought of it in those terms, but you're right. He has been darker than before, but it's not like he was sweetness and light before, but
he tended to be sweet with innocent people, with those who didn't have a stake in doing him wrong one way or another.
Right. So maybe he hasn't completely lost it. And yeah.
Well, can I bring up one more thing to worry about, since I'm on a roll with things to worry about?
Go on, then.
So Tyrion watches as Penny comforts Pretty Pig during the storm. And he's thinking who's comforting who, that, they're both kind of holding each other. And it just made me think that she is very attached to her pets. It's all that she has in the world and her last connection to her brother and father. But I worry, because if that's truly a slaver ship coming for them, what are the chances that they save these animals and treat them properly?
It's hard to sell a pig and a dog into slavery.
Yes, that
it's not impossible, but typically they're not bought and sold in that way. Presumably, they're not hungry like
right.
People of the Selaesori Qhoran. So if Penny and Tyrion can say, "Hey, they're part of our act. We're worth. What are we worth to you as workers? Not much, but we are a mama's troop, and they're part of the act. Yeah. Maybe the pets survive, but yes, it would be utterly heartbreaking for Penny to lose those two as well.
I was thinking the same thing.
Tyrion should marry her that day, I think.
There you go. I was thinking the same thing. They're going to have to convince the slavers that we're an act, and this is part of our act. You can get a lot more money for us with these animals than you can without.
Nice description of the eye of the hurricane, which is presumably what Tyrion experiences when sees calm water, but all around that must be utterly terrifying to actually be in the eye of a hurricane. I mean, he maybe didn't understand what he was seeing. We would have understood it, but it'd be like, well, let's hope this dissipates before this little patch of calm leaves me.
Good luck with that. Yeah, Tyrion is unsure what the sailors and a couple of the fiery fingers were doing with the sail and lines. And I was thinking, experienced sailors should know, at least have heard of how to handle a situation if you're caught in the eye of a storm.
Yeah.
They didn't seem to know what was happening. Maybe they're new. They've never been caught in a eye of a storm before, but I believe they went flying with the sail when it took off.
Yeah. I can't help but think when I hear about Makoro's fiery fingers that I think you said that he was missing along with two of his fiery fingers, that I just imagined 3 fiery fingers on the deck sort of left behind. Oh no. So after the storm, Jorah emerges from the cabin, and he's, well, the thing is, when you punch a friend in the mouth to knock his teeth out, you've got to get over it somehow.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't call them friends, but
no,
a traveling partner.
Companions. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you just got to pretend it never happened.
I guess. I wondered if maybe Jorah emerged from the storm somewhat changed. He stewed on Tyrion's words that caused him to hit Tyrion while the storm raged, and he emerged
better
slightly.
For it?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he thought about it and thought, what?
But what's he going to think? I mean, he can't really change his plan now. He's got to go back to her.
Right. Well, maybe he thinks, maybe I don't need to take him to be beheaded or in some way killed. Maybe I can bring him as someone will be a positive use to her. Yeah. Or maybe they're in much of dire straits to arbor ill will at this point. They're literally in a sinking ship, and there's no point in hashing out old arguments and such.
Yes, that's true. When I first read this, I kind of lost track of the fact that there was this long period of time before the storm where they were becalmed and they were doing the jousting to entertain. But there's quite a long period after the storm when the wreck is just hanging on and sort of slowly sinking. But it's
19 days.
19 days. It's even longer. Yeah, they were becalmed for 12 and then derelict for 19. During that time, Tyrion dreams of killing his father again, but Tywin becomes Penny.
Yeah. It feels like his guilt for his role in possibly a very bad end for Penny. Maybe that because he did not cause the death of her brother that led her to be in this position, but he did play a role in it. He was a factor in it.
Right.
And so maybe his subconscious is feeling this guilt for, she wouldn't be here if it ultimately wasn't for me.
Right. And then also that he brought her along. He didn't need to. He could have said, "Get away from me, assassin." And she could have found a new way to do her act in Volantis. But so all of our talk about what's going to happen when they reach Daenerys is probably falling on deaf ears because they're about to be enslaved.
Sure seems like it. We don't know. I mean, we don't know if it's accurate. Jorah's not known for his rosy, optimistic outlook. But
he is a dab hand at the old slavery. So
well, there is that. You're right. I forgot about that connection. Mm-hmm. He does have a connection. Yes, mm-hmm. Yes.
I've smelled that smell before. That's a slaver.
We don't get the other crew's opinions. He says it's a slaver and the chapter ends. So the seafarers might know best, but it feels like an out of the frying pan into the fire situation.
Ooh,
if indeed this is a slaver ship coming.
Yeah. Well, guess we'll see.
We will. Hopefully.
All right. Time for some spoilers. Remember, if you join us at the upper tiers of the Buy Me a Coffee Sustainer levels, you get the spoilers. Try it out for a week. See if you like it. Are you pleased I remembered?
That's a great job. Great effort dropping that in there.
Pleased is not the word. Flabbergasted. All right. Those are good spoilers. Thanks a lot. How about some background? There's not a lot here. What do you got for
No,
me?
there's really not. As I mentioned earlier, since this chapter happens kind of in a vacuum, there's not much for me to provide as far as background. I can tell you that this chapter takes place in the Gulf of Grief, and that is the waters that connect Slaver's Bay to the north of it with the Summer Sea to the Gulf south. The land masses around it include the lands of the Long Summer, the Smoking Sea, and the ruins of the Valerian Peninsula. Along its western shores, to the east lies Giscard, and in the northern part of the Gulf is the Isle of Cedars, which kind of straddles both Slaver's Bay and the Gulf of Grief.
Okay.
And that's pretty much really all there was.
Good enough for me. Thank you,
All
Mackelly.
right, good. Certainly.
In comparison with the television show, it's all completely dropped. There's no Macoro, there's no Penny, there's no Crunch and Pretty. There's no jousting. There's no shipwreck.
Oh, yeah.
So all of this is gone, basically.
Your comparison with the TV show is even more paltry than my background.
I know. And what's worse is, now we're moving to pedantry. I don't really have any pedantry either. I will say, the chances of hitting the eye of the storm are quite small.
Oh,
if you look at hurricanes, they're quite large. And you can get really swamped by a hurricane without the eye passing over you.
Sure.
The eye is a very small part of it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So just statistically, it's
right.
But
not really pedantry, but
no,
an interesting fact.
If I was writing a book, then the eye is passing over them. I want them to have a brief moment of, "Ooh, look at this!
Oh, wow, it's so peaceful."
Also, if you think about it, it's kind of like an eclipse. It sort of depends where you are on the line. If you're dead center, you're going to get a nice little period of time in the eye of the storm. But there are people who are right on the edge of the path of the eye who would get like 4 seconds of like, oh, this is
right. Yeah, I guess they must have been fairly centered anyway.
I think so.
Although he wasn't up there too long before it came back in force. So
no, I mean, it depends how fast the thing is moving, right?
True.
Hurricanes do stop, so you could get real lucky to be in the eye of the hurricane for a long period. It's like, this is a bit scary, but better here than over there.
Right.
News and notes.
Well, we don't have much in the way of news and notes, but what we do have is very exciting. We have a new Buy Me a Coffee Sustainer member. Edward, third of his name, has joined us at the Landed Knight tier, so I hope Edward enjoyed these spoilers. And we look forward to interacting with Edward, so thank you so very much. And
thank you,
I will
Edward.
say, Edward took advantage of the free trial option.
You know what? It was your amazing spoilers that convinced him. That's what it was. All that work you do. It's paying off. Edward,
well, we're glad to have you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right, let's conclude this one. So it's out of the frying pan into the fire, as you said, for our heroes. Particularly, potentially bad news for Pretty Pig and Crunch. But again, the one thing I'll say is Tyrion and Penny have next to no value as slaves without the dog and pig that are part of their act.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's, they could do steward type tasks.
Yeah.
But not fighting. I guess depends on what you need them for. Tyrion would not make a very good bed slave, and that's what Yunkai specializes in. So you would think he would be out in that. But yeah, you're right. If they can convince the slavers that they are a mummers troupe, and this is part of their act, they'll get much better dollar for us, if you keep our pets alive.
Yes.
That's their best shot.
I wonder if they can extend this to say that Jorah's part of the act too. Yeah. But that all depends on whether they want to stay with Jorah of the heavy hand.
Yeah. He is their best bet at any sort of safety, but thus far we have not seen him actually help in any such matters. So
yeah, true.
Yeah, it'll depend, I guess.
Tyrion did set aside his pride, which I think is a good sign, and we certainly shouldn't want for his degradation, but he continues to treat Penny with compassion and empathy, which, as you said, has been lacking in this book from Tyrion. And so it's maybe he is rebounding towards his normal self. So
Yeah, it's a nice little break from the Tyrion, the dark Tyrion we've seen thus far in this book, anyway. Now, Ser Jorah, he's angry like he usually is,
Yes.
gruff and angry, and as we well know,
and
Tyrion,
what does he play in your mama's troop? Oh, he plays the angry one. Let me tell you,
he's the angry bear, and Tyrion is an elite level goader. Which is a really potent cocktail. So
yes, yes. He's quite the goader. I mean, but the usefulness of goading when the only person you've got to goad is twice your size and on a short fuse is somewhat limited, I feel. Slavery, obviously awful, but where there's life, there's hope. I mean, I take slavery over staying on board the Selaesori Qhoran as it slowly sinks into the sea with no food and water.
Yes. At least they're alive. You're right. And that mate that takes over after the captain dies, as I said, figures that they're just south of the Isle of Cedars, which, as I said in background, kind of straddles Slaver's Bay and the Gulf of Grief. So there's a decent possibility that this slave ship will take them to Yunkai. And if it takes them to Yunkai, then they're getting a lot closer to their final destination anyway.
We never thought it would be an easy route, but
right, yeah.
This is a circuitousness we didn't bank on.
Right. Apparently, Tyrion thought it was going to be a lot easier than it's turning out to be.
You just turn left when we were supposed to turn right, duh.
Right.
All right, next up, we have a chapter which is dubbed The Turncloak. And when I saw that, I was very excited, and I couldn't think who the person was because I felt like there would be so many potential candidates for who the Turncloak might be.
Well, let's find out next week.
Yes. All right, there are 3 ways that you can help us out. You can leave us a positive review and a 5-star rating. You can buy us a cup of Arbor Gold at buymeacoffee.com/ghostsharrenhall. There you can become a sustainer at any of the various levels, as Edward III of his name did. There's a tier to match your budget and interest, and the upper tiers get you the spoilers. And you can take a 7-day trial to see if you like it. Donate directly to our cause through our website, ghostsofharrenhal.buzzsprout.com.
And if you're looking for more ways to interact with us, well, one thing you can do is you can send us a text. The link is at the top of every episode's show notes. Just please keep in mind there is no means for us to respond to you, but we do enjoy reading them. And if you're interested in keeping up on the latest Ghosts of Harrenhal news and developments, such as checking out pictures of the card that Jenny sent me that took a very circuitous, well, I don't know if it's circuitous. It just got
didn't
delayed
go to slavery, did it?
I don't think so.
It was practically shipwrecked.
Yeah, it was shipwrecked. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Well, if you're interested in those such things, you can check us out on our social media. You can follow us on Twitter at Ghost Harrenhal. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Discord, and YouTube.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.